Vibing on a whole new vibe these days. Old school Louisville boy like Reese Gaines. I know we were cool back then, but things change. Your chick give me brain, my chicken's free range. Reporting live from the 5.
Welcome back to another iteration of the Cracked Paddles podcast. I am your host, Alex Crum, aka AC, alongside with my cohort, my right-hand man, Kevin Dong, aka
KD.
KD, how are you, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
Exhausted. Feel like I'm in the twilight zone. Your boy had a proper 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. Teaching day today. And listen, I love teaching, but I think this last little stint is going to give me such a great appreciation for the new journey I'm about to embark on, which involves a little bit of teaching, not 10 hours a day worth, but training, competing, traveling, talk and talk, walk and walk. Much more so looking forward to that because it is hot in the Hamptons. It is extremely hot, like 90 plus, massive humidity. I'm sweating through shorts, shirts, shoes. Anyway, I'm ready to get the Sam heck out of here and get back on the pickleball court, baby.
Dude, this summer has been hot, and I feel he's been hot everywhere. And
so hot.
It's so many days I'll just wake up with a headache, and I'm like, I've been pounding water and electrolytes, and I'm still dehydrated. Like, I can't catch up. So that's just a reminder for everyone out there to hydrate before you dehydrate. All right.
Yeah, and that's on period. No, I honestly, I have like a problem in the morning when I teach because I always have to pee like 6 or 7 times, like between like 7 and 10 a.m. And so actually today I was so dehydrated that I didn't have to do that. It was great because normally I'm like doing my 8 a.m. lesson and sprint to the bathroom, 9 a.m. lesson, sprint to the bathroom. Today I was able to just grind it out because I was so dehydrated. But
well,
enough about that.
yeah. Hopefully you catch up.
Enough about that. A lot happened in the pickleball world this week, Kevin, and we're just here today to kind of give you a little quick hitter recap, sort of some of our thoughts and opinions. I did also have a rap concert in New York City last Thursday, so we'll touch on that a little bit. But yeah, this is kind of going to be a little short form Spitfire recap episode from us. Anything else you got, Kev?
No, let's get right on into it.
All right, we'll get right into it. Should we talk about the show first?
Let's talk about the show. Your first live show in a while, right?
In a while, yeah. I mean, I've done shows before and shows at, weddings, pep rallies, old lady parties, all kinds of things. And this was a cool event hosted by Cracked Reality TV, celebrating the premiere of Big Brother and Real Housewives. We had Miss Katie Janella there, who is one of the stars of the Real Housewives of Orange County. So it was kind of a multi-pronged celebration. It was held at 30 Love, which is a super cool tennis-themed bar in the East Village. If you live in New York, I highly recommend it. They always have like watch parties for all the big Grand Slams and things of that nature, but super cool spot. There was a great comedic performance by also a tennis pro who's like blown up on TikTok and is a pretty successful comedian named Greg Johnstone. And then the night ended with me doing a little 7-song rap sing performance, which I thought went very well. A lot.
Was it all of your music, or was it like some covers and a mixture?
No, I don't do covers, bro. You can't do covers in rap. Like, I mean, I could, get out there and do like Lose Yourself or something. Right. But if I'm in a karaoke bar, maybe. But like, if it's my concert, I'm doing originals. So. No, it was super fun. Got to go to the West Side Tennis Club in the morning. New York City's great for like a night, because if I lived in New York City all the time, yeah, I just don't think I could swing that stick. Love to take the energy.
You just bottled up that New York energy and take it home with you.
1000%. I like to go to New York like once or twice a year for a few days here and there, take the energy, throw it over my shoulder, and get out of town. So it was a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot more new music coming from me soon and a lot more performances in the future. So I love to perform. I had a blast. Everybody there was great. The event was great. Yeah, a lot of fun.
And you played Anna Bright, right?
I did play Anna Bright. That was That was the last song of the set list. Awesome. People have been saying it's the song of the summer. I got another song coming out soon that I think is the song of the summer. So we'll find out. But
can't wait.
But I enjoyed it. I think there will be like a recap video, some footage. We had a couple of videographers there, so there will be some footage soon.
Nice.
But I should mention this. I did perform in a crop top. So Katie Janella and her team, they were selling a lot of merchandise, like personal merch for her. And there were crop tops for sale, crop tops and sweatshirts. And I bought like 3 of each. And they convinced me to throw the crop top on and wrap. Had I had maybe a tequila here, tequila there before all this transpired, yes. But I think I pulled it off. But I just wanted to let the audience know that if you see me in a crop top, it wasn't me.
Okay. I saw those pictures, but you know,
it was a shirt that was in the wash for too long, Kev.
Yeah, no, it worked
wasn't
out.
an intentional move.
Hey, you rocked it with confidence. I like it.
Thank you, Kevin. Confident in my own skin.
Yeah.
I want to talk about our sponsor. We love Midwest Sports, MidwestRacketSports.com. They've been a staple in the tennis industry for the last 30 years. They're a family-owned business from the Midwest, hence the name. And they are finally making a big splash into the pickleball world. They have everything you need: shoes, bags, hats, socks, shoes, socks, hats, bags. They have it all. And if you spend over $50, you get free shipping. So I want to talk about my favorite part of the Midwest Racquet Sports website, and that's you can demo up to 3 paddles for $15, right? That's such a steal. So many new paddles constantly coming out. You're all looking for different things. For $15, you can try 3 paddles, put that money towards the one you ultimately end up wanting to buy. I think that's a steal of a steal, KD. So go to MidwestRacketSports.com, use code CP15, CP15 for 15% off. We love MidwestRacketSports.com, KD.
That paddle demo is such a clutch program because there's just so many new paddles coming out all the time now. And it's to a point where a lot of them are pretty close to being at the top of the market. So you do genuinely want to know, I just got this in the mail. Is the 11.624 the next hot thing? Pickleball Apes came out with another one. Yola, how is it compared to the Yola? How is it compared to the Paddle Tags? All the other ones. So, it's just it's good to be able to keep tabs on what's out there.
100%. MidwestRacketSports.com. I will say I'm so happy that I have a paddle that I'm playing with though, because
you're locked in.
There were months where I was dropping $900 unnecessarily on paddles, and I probably could have gotten these paddles for free. If you're ranked top 5 in the APP and you really want a paddle, I feel like you can probably get it. Grayson used to just have 700 paddles that he would just hit up everyone and be like, hey, can I get a few? And they were like, sure, I guess, and he would just do these giveaways. But I was spending my own money on those. So happy that I'm with a company I like and a paddle I really, really like.
It just brings the accessibility to match people's curiosity, right? That's
100%.
That's huge. Should we move on to the first big pickleball headline of the last week or so?
I think we shall.
All right, so Quang Duong, also known as Wang Yung, we're going to call him Quang because it's just much easier for us to pronounce it, and I'm sure we're mispronouncing it when we try to do it right anyway. So for all intents and purposes, QD/Quang Duong, he had his contract with the UPA, PPA, MLP terminated. So UPA is the parent organization that PPA and MLP both fall under, and they basically pulled the plug on him after he breached his contract multiple times. So in the most recent instance, he was supposed to play an MLP event. He told them that he was going to have a surgery in Vietnam, so he couldn't make it. And then he ended up promoting non-UPA pickleball events while he was there, and the UPA ultimately said, all right, enough's enough. We're done. We're terminating the contract. Do you think this is a win-win, win-lose? Who do you think is better after this decision?
Look, let me preface this by saying, I like Quang. He's been cool to me in the limited interactions we have. Like his little bro Bao. He's a sweet kid. I think it's complicated, right? I think obviously there are going to be lucrative opportunities in Asia that will continue to present themselves and have clearly already presented themselves. With that being said, I think, a lot of the brand, when you play on the PPA tour and you're ranked 5th in singles, you can pretty much say you're the 5th best player in the world. I don't know how his competitive schedule looks going forward. Does he play APP? maybe sporadically, right? Potentially. I don't see him playing a full APP Tour schedule. I just don't. Does he compete, wait for a big international circuit to pop up? I mean, look, in the immediate future, he's not going to be competing against the best in the world. Will that hurt his brand? Potentially. Maybe not in Asia because he's such a big personality there, but I think, he clearly has tons of opportunities to make a lot of money over there, and I don't begrudge him at all for that. However, not being able to compete against the best in the world, as you've been doing for the last couple of years, I do think has its drawbacks there.
That's fair. I mean, I feel like generally, I feel like it's a win-win, but there are obviously pros and cons on both sides for both parties. Like for the PPA, I mean, they're obviously they're not willing, and they shouldn't be willing to allow someone to continuously breach their contract, right? Like they signed a contract that should be honored. If it's not totally fair game and not a good precedent, like it's a good precedent to make sure that people that breach their contract are punished, right? And in that sense, I think it's a win, right? You can't just let that go unnoticed or treated, right? Untapped, whatever. But basically, English is hard right now. Anyway,
Dude, I got him same.
But on the flip side, like the PPA is trying to grow internationally, right? And Quong is basically like the number one face in Asia potentially, right? You could argue that, especially. I mean, I've heard stories where he gets treated like complete royalty when he goes over to Asia. So to have that brand separated from the PPA as they grow internationally, that could be, one thing that they do lose. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if someone's outbidding them, clearly, like there's more. Quong and his dad would not make this decision if there was not more money offered to them outside of what the PPA is offering them, right? So, hey, if someone's outbidding them, then so be it, right? So a little bit of win-loss for the UPA, but for Quong, it's like, is he cashing out? Like, is he going to be content competing on the Asian tours or global tours or the APP? Like, is that going to scratch his competitive itch, or is that just going to be him cashing out? Who knows? But either way, I'm sure he'll be really happy looking at his paychecks.
Sure.
So, just depends on what their priorities are. But I do think, if growing the sport in your home country or even just in Asia in general is a big priority, then that's obviously a clear win for him as well.
Sure.
Because I'm sure he'll be way more free in terms of scheduling to do so.
Right. I just think, look, it comes down to this, and I think obviously I'm sure PPA thought about this, like the fact that he's probably the biggest name in Asian pickleball. Obviously, they had those conversations. I just think it's more so the repeated offenses, right? Like, and we don't know what happened behind closed doors. I don't know the ins and the outs. I just know that there were multiple discussions and multiple like, hey, we love you, but stop doing this. You know what I mean? And it's like after a while, you just can't let the inmates run the asylum, right? Because again, then it kind of opens up Pandora's box. So that's all I'd say. Like, I'm sure there were plenty of discussions had. It's like, do we really want to? And then I think at some point you have no choice. So,
right. We're not in the room where it happens, but it seems like, hey, from my perspective, it just seems like someone's like severely outbidding them. So it's like, yeah, it's not worth either party's time and effort to make it work. So parting ways makes the most sense.
Right. All right. Well, I think that about covers it. Best of luck to both parties.
Exactly.
What else is going on in pickleball, Kevin? Okay, well, the MLP St. Louis is going on right now as we speak. And I'll be honest, like, I think that the way that they've set up the viewer experience there is the future of pickleball. I think in an indoor setting, you can do more with the space. I don't know what's the capacity there at Chaifetz Arena for viewers, but I would guess it's in the multi thousands for the way that they've got it set up.
So was that a hockey rink or a basketball court?
It's a basketball arena, and I think it's a multi-purpose arena. The Chaifetz family, I think, owns and built it maybe, and obviously Ross Chaifetz is the owner of the St. Louis Shock. So I saw the court, which looked incredible. I saw they had like suites for sponsors and people willing to pay for it. and it just looks awesome to me. I'm sad I couldn't be there because I was actually asked by the team to perform. We had talked a little bit about me performing Anna Bright at the event before they played the Dallas Flash. Unfortunately, I made an obligation. I made a commitment months and months and months ago, and I think you should always honor your commitments. But I do wish I was there because, man, it looks like it's going to be a sweet weekend there.
You didn't want to breach your commitment contract or whatever?
I'm a man of my word, Katie. I think when I tell you I'm going to do something, I got to try my darndest to do it. So it is what it is.
I respect that a lot.
If they would have sent the jet and got me there and back in one day, so I didn't have to miss any work, I would have done it. But to be frank, I don't think I'm worth that much. Not yet. Not yet. I'm not worth a jet send yet. Maybe one day soon.
At that point, you're like, I don't know if I want to overpromise, underdeliver.
Yeah, correct. You send the jet for me and I get there and bomb, then how does that look? So, I've talked to those guys a lot. Like, I do think the brass at the St. Louis Shock, as well as a few other teams, like, they are doing everything in their power to make this thing work. And we need more like-minded people like Andrew Haynes and Chaifetz and like that, who are willing to invest like not only money, but like time and thoughtfulness to the product. Like, less than money, you can throw money at the wall. It doesn't always stick. Like, you need creative, passionate people who actually want pickleball at the professional level to succeed, so.
And I'm very interested to see on the weekend, right? Like, what does the weekend attendance look like in that stadium court? Because that stadium court does look absolutely incredible. But how many seats? Like, there's no way you won't have more seats than people. So how many of these seats do you actually fill? That's the question. And I feel like that's like a good sign of like, well, what can you draw? What type of crowd can you draw in one sitting for one match? Like, that's gonna be
for sure.
That's gonna be very interesting to see.
I think St. Louis is a good town for it. I mean, obviously, like, they're very well connected, and I'm sure they've been getting the word out. But also, St. Louis is like a great market for pickleball, in my opinion. It's a smaller, big city. They're passionate about sports. Like, St. Louis Cardinal fans are psychopaths. I hate the Cardinals, but like St. Louis Cardinals, St. Louis Blues, like, those people love sports there. So I'll be interested to see the turnout, but I bet you it's going to be really big. I think it will be big for pickleball. That's my prediction. So we'll see.
Excited to see it. All right. Do we want to move on to our next topic? Because this one, there might be a little bit of debate.
Okay. Which is what? Are we going DUPR? Super DUPR?
We're going to Super DUPR. All right. So the DUPR algorithm has changed. It is no longer based on win-loss. It is now based on expected score. So you have a modeled out expected score. And if you beat that score, you can lose and go up. You can also underperform and win, but go down. Do you think this is a good change?
Yes. I would even go on to say it's a necessary change.
Wow. Okay. Why necessary versus just a good change?
Because the algorithm needs to be as accurate as possible if gambling is ever going to get legalized. And that is the number one most important thing in professional pickleball becoming a lucrative enterprise. That's why. Clip that.
That's
and
fair.
So, I mean, it really just comes down to that. Now, I think there's always going to be flaws to the pickleball rating system on a micro level, because the game is just weirder than other sports, like, as far as being rated. Like, you could miss 4 returns. Like, I feel like there's always funky stuff that's going to happen. But I do think that this should be factored in. Like, whatever the Goldman Sachs guy said. He said more data points ultimately yield like a tighter product, right? So I support it.
So, okay, I actually really, really agree with your sports gambling comment. Like, if we're gonna get there, that, the expected score and all that stuff, that has to be like the path to get there. But I guess as a player, not a viewer, but more of a player, there are some concerns of like, okay, like tennis, you have to win multiple points to get to a game, and the games are what you're dictating, right? So there's not as much volatility. With pickleball, 1 or 2 returns, 1 or 2 net cords. It's not that that's rare. Like, that's actually like a normal part of any pickleball match, right? Like, a couple of loose errors, regardless of who you're playing, a couple of net cords, regardless of who you're playing. And it's like that volatility. In theory, you might say, okay, well, that volatility over a course of a larger data set doesn't really matter. But when that's like a regular part of pickleball, maybe it does. And my personal issue with this was like, okay, well, if you're supposed to absolutely beat down a team because it's a DUPR mismatch and you beat them 11-4 or 11-5, like that's still a convincing win, but your DUPR is going to go down, right? And I think that's where a lot of people are frustrated, where they're like, if I beat someone handily, why would my rating go down? And so far, DUPR's basically saying, you still underperformed. And they actually clarified in a DM. Tito, the CEO, told me, he was like, well, if someone's supposed to win 11-0, that match actually has no impact on either team as long as the expected team wins. So if it's like such a big difference that you're expected to win 11-0, if you win 11-5, nothing actually happens. But if you're expected to win 11-2
Right.
and you win 11-5, you will go down. So I thought that was actually a nice thing, because like, okay, expecting someone to win 11-0, you're in a lose-lose situation.
Right.
But that it just discourages a little bit more of like the manipulation, because when there are fewer data points, people are going to look to game the system. And I think that's what a lot of people are scared about, because for the masses, I don't think it's realistic to get 100 data points into DUPR, right? You're not going to have 100 matches for the average DUPR user. You're just not, because that takes 100 matches worth of tournament money or league money or whatever to sign up and pay and do all that. So, the more data, the better. But, it is tough if you're going to have someone just, sign up for open tournaments or 5-0 tournaments, lose 11-4 and like start farming people, right? But if you're supposed to lose 11-0 and you don't gain anything from losing 11-4, then okay, I feel like there's less incentive to try and game the system there. So
yeah, but that's where I think the reliability score comes into play as well, though. Like you can be a 54 DUPR if you want with a 2 reliability score. Like who cares? You know what I'm saying? So like I do think that it's easy to tell the people that haven't competed much or whatever. It's like, all right, like we can easily see that your DUPR is not reliable at this juncture. You know what I mean?
right.
So look, I get it. And that was sort of my whole point at the beginning. It's like with tennis, it's a longer game. It's a longer match. You got to win 4 points to win a game kind of thing. Whereas in pickleball, like it's just not that way. It's a little bit more chaotic and sporadic and everything else. But again, I think there's really no other pathway forward than something like this. I mean, so
Hey,
do I think it stinks if you win close and you go down? Like, sure. But again, like I think it's necessary.
I think there are instances where the vast majority of instances where you win close when you should have won a little bit more handily and you go down, I think the vast majority of times that's valid. I just feel like when there's more of a mismatch, it just seems crazy. Like, is Ben Johns going to have to pickle every single pro for the rest of eternity to keep his rating as high as it is?
Well,
Like,
we'll see. That's what I'm saying. I think you haven't seen that yet. Check out how the things move after MLP's. I feel like kind of about it. I mean, you'll be able to see something.
I think PPA will be
PPA
better,
Bristol
yeah.
will be more of an indicator there of how it's going to look going forward. But again, love Tito, love the guys at DUPR, and I think this was a necessary change.
I was skeptical, but the more I've heard about it, the more I've discussed it with people, I do think it makes more sense than the initial raw reaction. But that being said, your DUPR is not your identity, okay? Just because a number goes down temporarily does not mean the world is ending. So as long as you keep getting better,
guys, get off the ledge.
Exactly. As long as you keep drilling, as long as you keep playing, keep competing, keep getting better at pickleball, life will go on. It will be totally fine.
Maybe your UTRP went up that day too.
Dude, don't even get me started.
I don't want to get you started. But
my UTRP, it used to be like a 5-4, and then Wade and I made the semifinals of an APP. We beat like a 6-7 or 6-5 or something guy, and then we went to 3 with like a 6-6 and a 6-7, and then we went down. Like I went from a 5-4 down to a 4-9, and then I have not moved since. So I'm like, how did we, on our best tournament ever, I get dropped half a point, and then I've still never moved. That rating system has not been functioning, at least for my profile. I have not seen any other data points, but for my profile, it does not appear to be moving.
Right. Well, there you go. Okay, you just sold me on DUPR.
Okay. Speaking of DUPR, as long as you keep getting better, things will work out. Let's do a quick drill of the week. So
drill of the week, Katie.
All right, drill of the week. One thing that I've always wanted to work on in my game is my transition game. Resets, I feel great. It's more specifically like the actual third shot for me has just more room to grow. I feel like that is the biggest gap between myself and other pros of the same level. Like, I don't have as lethal or whatever of a third shot. So what I do to work on my third shots is third shot figure eights. So what you do is you drive line and you drop cross court. So you can either do this with one partner or two people at the net. And basically every time the people at the net are just going to hit down the line to you, and you're going to drive line, drop cross court, go to the other side, drive line, drop cross court, and you're basically making a figure eight pattern with where you're hitting the ball, and they're always hitting down the line to set up the next shot of the figure eight. And I've been doing a lot of that. It's a ton of footwork. It's a ton of cardio.
So I used to do that kind of drill in tennis, and I want to kill myself after like 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It's such a good drill. Like, when I get back, that's what I need to do. A little KD figure eight. No, that sounds like a great drill. It sounds like it would gas me out, though.
It does. Like 2 minutes of it, and you're like, oh my God. Like 2 minutes of figure eights versus like 2 hours of pickleball are about the same.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree.
All right. Last thing. What's next for AC?
A few more 10-hour days up here in the Hamptons.
A few more practice sessions with Fed Stacks Root, or is that?
I think, I did get to practice with Fetty the other day. It was a blast. We battled it out. It was 7,000 degrees. Like I said, I sweat through everything 4 times.
You played a singles match against him, right?
We did play a singles match, and he got me this time, KD. He got me this time. I blew a big game 1 lead. I'll be honest with you, I was gassed out after like 5 minutes. We were playing with like an old Vulcan. I was told him many times, I said, "Where's my lifetime ball?" That thing was slower than a Franklin. I think if I played Fed like 50 times with a Franklin in the heat, like, I don't like the way that goes most of the time, to be completely honest with you. At least not at this juncture. I'd have to change my strat a little bit.
You need to do a lot more third shot figure eights, and then you'll be ready.
Yeah, dude. I don't shoot. That ball is so slow. But no, I think there's a chance I might be playing with Tyson next week. He's going to be up here. I have a little exhibition with Daescu and company next Thursday. So I am hitting some balls. But I go home July 28th, and then I'll have an intensive week of training before my PPA debut as assigned player in Bristol, Tennessee, which was not what I thought. I thought it was like 10 minutes from Nashville. It's actually like basically in Virginia. So what I thought was a 3-hour drive from Louisville is actually a 6-hour drive, but whatever. So
still drivable.
Getting locked and loaded for my PPA debut, Katie. That's where my eyes are headed towards. What about you?
Stuff. Well,
something more important than anything.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for the wedding, but before the wedding, we are doing a little bachelor party this weekend. So it's going to be a mega compete day on Saturday. Just one thing after another. Tennis, spike ball, pickleball, darts, ping pong, some board games, some drinking, whatever, all the above, eating. I don't know. We don't really know exactly the format.
The eating contest would be sick. End of the night.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know exactly the format. It's not fully locked in, but we know it's going to be a lot of racket sports, a lot of other stuff. And I am definitely trying to film at least the tennis and for sure the pickleball. And we'll see if we can get some clips out of that. Like,
that's going to be awesome.
I'm telling you.
Gutted I can't be there because I would crash that bachelor party for sure.
Right, we're going to your hometown. So
exactly.
Next time.
I'll be stuck up here.
So the one thing about tennis, I went to hit against the wall today for like 10 minutes, or it was like 20 minutes. 10 minutes on the wall, 10 minutes serving. And dude, a tennis racket is so much heavier than the pickleball paddle just because it's like so much longer. It's a longer lever. So like the swing weight is like double the pickleball paddle. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure the twist weight on this freaking Yonex I got with a leather grip on it is a lot higher than your 9-ounce Pulse Apes paddle, Kev. No,
Dude.
it is, bro. It is heavy. I was hitting with this lady today who like played squash at Yale or something, and her slice on the grass, like the grass I'm playing on right now, is not Wimbledon grass, dude. It like is a football field, and this bird just knifes it, and I'm like sitting like 5 feet off the line trying to like muscle it back to her with a super heavy racket. Like, it's crazy how different they are. But
I think it's good cross training. I think it goes both ways too. I know a lot of people say that, like, you know, tennis is one that helps with your pickleball, but I honestly think pickleball is helping my tennis because my tennis forehand was so like windshield wiper high heavy.
Yeah, now it's more compact and through the ball a little more.
I can never flatten out a tennis forehand down the line. And I feel like now my pickleball stroke is starting to become more linear. So it's helping my tennis stroke be just a little more clean, you know, like not quite Roger Federer, but, you know, that's what I'm trying to visualize.
Dude, I've been saying this for a hot minute. Like, tennis and pickleball are very complementary, in my opinion.
Yes.
Tennis and squash, no. Tennis and padel, no. Pickleball, padel, no. They're different skill sets, but like my strokes on a pickleball court are almost identical to my strokes on a tennis court. But on a pickleball court, they're quicker and they're more compact. Well, guess where the tennis game has shifted towards? Look at Sinner. He doesn't have a loop. He's freaking in here. Alcaraz is in here. So it's like the more compact you are in tennis, ultimately the better you are, I think, off the ground. And so pickleball has made me a better volleyer. My reaction time is better. Pickleball has made me, again, shorten my strokes a little bit. So that's what a lot of people don't get.
Yeah.
So
no, I love it.
All right. Anything else we got, Katie?
No, we'll see you, and hopefully I'll have some footage to share with the class, you know?
Yeah, dude, I'm sad. I'm very sad. It's such a wholesome bachelor party idea. I guarantee it will be way more fun than some of the Yahoo bachelor parties I've been on. I can just promise you that. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We will have a very special guest, actually 2 very special guests joining us this upcoming Sunday. Two important figures in the pickleball world, to say the least. So, thank you guys as always for joining. We'll see you soon.
So that's not a little bored. That sucks. Life's tough. Last thing I need is more stuff. It's true. I need a little more time with you and more rose.